welcome back to another video where today we will be doing My Story Animated. Let's just see how this goes.
I was sitting in the principal's office for getting in a fight yet again. I was thinking about how my mom would be proud of me for standing up for myself. She was never happy about the fights I'd gotten into before, but she always let me off the hook because she knows it runs in our family.
Okay, so fighting runs in their family. Yeah, that's reasonable. Let's get back to the video.
All I needed now was my mom to get me out of here. Pretty soon my mom walked in and glared down at me. The principal walked in right behind her. "I'm so sorry this keeps happening, Mr. Earl," my mom said while glaring at me. "I'll make sure she's punished again. Miss Carla, your daughter gave the poor boy a broken nose and she broke his fingers for good measure. What does that even
Well, dang. Well, looks like that escalated very quickly.
mean?" said the principal, throwing his hands up while I tried not to smile. "I think pushing her isn't working. You really ought to consider some other options. Maybe I know how to raise my daughter," my mom said. I apologized.
Probably I know how to raise my daughter. Yes. You are raising your daughter so well. Getting into fights, yes, that's the best you can raise your daughter ever.
That you have to keep dealing with this, but I assure you she'll be better, won't you? I nodded eagerly. The principal sighed but stood away from the door, and I got up and left the office with my mom. She was unusually quiet on the ride back home, so I decided to
She was unusually quiet on the ride back home. Well, I think I know why. Probably because you got in a fight. Let's continue. 1 second, guys.
cheer her up and told her about how Jerry thinks he's so macho, but I gave him a beating he's definitely going to remember. My mom was quiet the whole time, but I kept talking. "You're happy I put him in
Ha! This is hilarious. Thought he was all macho man, but then I, gave him a taste of his own medicine. So good, so good. 10 out of 10 story so far. Honestly, I don't believe it.
his place, right, Mom?" "No," she said sternly. "What?" I was shocked to hear her say that. "You putting that boy in the hospital caused your father to panic at work because the school called him first. Then he told me to come pick you up and I was—" She suddenly stopped talking. I was getting angry at this point. My mom has always known that we have violent tendencies, but when I finally used
My mom always knew I had some violent tendencies, but then when I actually, used them, she got mad at me. I don't know why. Totally not my fault. Yes, not my fault.
them to do something good, she yells at me? How is that fair? "Is this really how you wanted to start your summer break?" my mom asked angrily. She continued to scold me, but I just decided to zone out, so I wasn't really paying attention. When we arrived home, I ran to my room and decided to stay there.
Oh yeah, she was, scolding me, but I didn't listen. Wait, how could you not listen to your mom scolding you? This makes no sense. I could barely stop that with my little sister. Anyways, let's continue.
Something had to change around here. What was I supposed to do? Just let that jerk Jerry keep running his mouth? The first few days of my summer break were boring enough. Most of my friends go on vacations, but my parents never agree to take me no matter how much I ask. Everybody else was getting into relationships and hanging out in twos. All that mushy stuff really isn't for me. I was waking up
All that mushy stuff isn't really for me. Watched her fall in love at the end of the video. Comment if she's not gonna fall in love. Smash like if she is. Subscribe if she is not, or you think she is.
up early because I was still in the habit of going to school in the morning, but pretty soon I started to notice that my mom was acting strange. She would kiss my dad goodbye at the door every morning before he left for work and then stayed by the window.
Isn't that like normal parenting? Like, yeah, just kiss your dad on the way out. I don't know. I never had a dad. Let's continue.
It was almost as if she was making sure that he was really gone each time. I could see it all from the breakfast table. I thought that was just my mind trying to make something interesting happen to make my days less boring. But then things got even weirder. Right after my dad left, my mom would go directly up to her room.
I obviously actually thought it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Girl, you thought.
Room. I would still be eating breakfast by the time she came back down with a black duffel bag that I was sure I had never seen before. She would then say that she was going to go and hang out with Mrs. Lebowski across the street. I didn't think twice about it the first time it
Are you sure you are not going to the gym?
happened. I asked about what she had in the bag a few times. She would sarcastically say things like, a dead body, or my new chainsaw, and laugh as she walked out the door. She always got back about an hour before my dad got.
Yes, I have a dead body and the chainsaw in here. Yeah, that's kind of what I actually have in my bag sometimes. I actually do have a chainsaw. I'll show you guys in another video, or I'll post it on Twitter. Who knows?
Got home in the evening. Maybe my mom just made a new friend. After all, Dad was at work all day and I was at school, so maybe she just got bored. But then she started doing this every single day. She would wait for my
And then she started to do this every single day. Probably she has some good friends.
dad to leave, go upstairs to her room, come back down with the same black duffel bag, and leave for Mrs. Lebowski. After telling me there was lunch in the fridge, something didn't add up. My mind started flooding with questions. Since when did Mom and Mrs. Lebowski become such good friends? What's up with the bag? Why does she only go on weekdays? Is it because my dad is home on weekends? Is she hiding something from him? I decided to start looking into it, to see if I was just blowing things out of proportion. Maybe Mom and Mrs. Lebowski just discovered some new board games to play or something. Is that what
I don't remember all two playing board games.
grown-ups are into these days? Anyways, I waited at the breakfast table until she left in the same way after telling me there was leftover spaghetti in the fridge for lunch. Then I looked out the window and saw her walking normally across
What was that?
the street to where Mrs. Lebowski lives. So far, so good. I saw her ring the doorbell, and Mrs. Lebowski came to the door to welcome her in. My mom went in, and the door closed. I turned back and sat at the table. Well, that was disappointing. That's when my gut woke up, probably after digesting the scrambled eggs I just ate. Something inside me told me there was more to the story. I
Literally meets any horror game. There's more to the story.
made up my mind and went out after her. I was halfway across the street when I realized I was still in my Powerpuff Girls pajamas, but I was too late to turn back now. I went around the house to try and find a window I could look through. I made my way to the back of the house. Mrs. Lebowski had a really nice back garden with gnomes and properly trimmed grass and hedges. As far as clear windows go, no luck. Either the curtains were drawn or the window was too high to look through properly. There was a road behind her house, and I wondered if my mom somehow sneaked out the back to go somewhere. I could feel my anger rising, thinking I had failed. It didn't help that the key back and walked out. I paused the video right.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's totally cool. This is my first animation story time video, so just, don't roast me in the comments, says I'm bad, first time for everything.
There and went to the table by her bed. Going through some papers and makeup stuff, I eventually found the key and ran right to the cupboard. Just as I was about to unlock it, I heard my mom's voice coming up the stairs. I panicked. This was really bad. Not being able to think of anything better, I crawled under her bed as quickly as I could. Mom walked in talking to somebody over the phone. Yes, I understand. I don't know how I could have forgotten the gun. I'll be there soon. I held back a gasp. She hung up the phone, but my eyes were wide with excitement
There was a gun involved.
and surprise. Mom kept a gun in the house? Why? She opened her table drawer and I suddenly realized I still had the key. I put a hand over my mouth so she couldn't hear me breathe. I heard her going through her drawer and even cursing a little. She eventually gave up and sat on the bed. I heard her phone unlock and she dialed a number to say, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I'll be able to make it today. Yeah, I know, it sucks, but you'll have to finish the job without me. Thanks for understanding. Okay, bye." With that, my mom sighed and walked out.
What is the job?
of the room. I heard her footsteps going down the stairs. I crawled out from underneath the bed and put the key back in the drawer under some papers. With that, my mom sighed and walked out of the room. Then I walked down and saw my mom washing dishes. "Hi," I asked as I tried to keep my voice from shaking. "You're back early today, huh?" "Yeah, I guess today was a short day out," she replied. She stopped the water running suddenly and groaned. "Ugh, I forgot my bag at Mrs. Lebowski's. This just isn't my day." It really isn't, I thought to myself.
Cool, yes. There is a gun involved and she forgot her bags. You know, Fro got her bags. Mrs. whatever the heck it was. Mrs. Lebowski's house.
My mom said she'd be right back, dried her hands and left. I ran up once again to her room. I worked quickly to take out the key and unlock the cupboard. When I opened it, I was shocked by what I saw. There was my mom's outfit from yesterday hanging, but it had red stains on it. There were also red stains on the bottom of the walls. I could hardly believe
That was a murder, like for real.
it. Right behind her outfit at the back of the cupboard, there was a poster stuck that seemed more like a fancy certificate. It read, "Welcome to the Hit Gang." I could feel my excitement rising. My mom was in a gang? So this is how she deals with her anger issues. It all makes sense now. Was she an assassin or just petty crime? But why is there so much blood? I noticed a gray transparent packet on the floor of the cupboard. Inside was a silver object in the shape of a gun. I wanted to open it so bad, but I didn't know how to wipe my fingerprints yet. I took out my phone and quickly captured pictures of her cupboard. Then I locked it and put the key back. Tonight, I'm going to ask her to let me join her, I thought to myself. I'll do it in front of Dad so that he can also have...
Oh my, no, this is not good. This is not good. Don't do it.
a chance to join us. It'll be like a family thing. We could all be in a gang together. I ran to my room, brimming with excitement. I could put on a nice girl act all day and be a part of a gang by night, just like Mom. I skipped lunch that day, even though Mom offered to order fresh food. I needed to plan on what to say while I waited for Dad to get home. That evening, we all sat down at the dinner table. My mom brought the main course and I wasted no time. "Mom is in a gang," I yelled. So much for a planned speech. Everybody was silent for a moment. Then my dad started laughing and my mom just narrowed her eyes at me. Eventually, my dad realized he was the only one laughing and just looked at the two of us. "What?" he asked innocently. "Yeah," I said, turning to my dad. Mom goes somewhere up the stairs.
Clap, clap, clap. This is amazing. This is amazing. 1 sec.
And smiled slightly as she said, "What?" "Yeah," I said. "I want to be a part of your gang and go on missions and fight people." My mom laughed a little and said, "So you've been spying on me." "Wait, she's telling the truth?" My dad chirped in disbelief. "You're in a gang?" "Yes, dear, I am," my mom said coolly with a smile. "I'm a part of the Hit Gang. I believe that's the poster you saw, right?" She gestured at me and I nodded with vigor. "Well, I am sorry to disappoint you and also ruin the surprise."
Okay, that's good. I'm sorry to spoil the surprise. Wow, okay, this is cool.
"But all I do is run a soup kitchen." "What?" said me and my dad at the same time. My mom smiled at me and calmly said, "That's right, I'm part of Housewives and Trailers. Since our kitchen runs from a trailer, it's kind of catchy. The stains you saw are tomato juice. The gun you saw is a staple gun. It helps to seal the packets
What?
we hand out for some people. The black is easy to clean and helps with the whole thing." I felt breathless. Then, I don't know why I burst out laughing. It was something I could not stop. "But why?" my dad asked Mom. "I wanted to surprise you all with a vacation. She's always going on about it, so I figured, why not?" I suddenly stopped laughing. So my mom was listening to me all this time. My dad was clearly still processing the whole thing. "So," my mom said to me laughingly, "since you're so good at spying on people, you can help our soup kitchen with some market research."
Okay,